You didn't find this by accident. This message must be meant for you, because somewhere in the world right now, parents are kissing their children goodbye before prayer, hoping they come home alive. Think about how terrifying that is for a second. A mosque filled with children, families praying, people believing they were safe for just 1 hour. Then suddenly gunshots, panic, screaming, chaos. And one man realizing hate was about to walk through those doors. Some people are already turning this into politics. Others are turning it into another argument about religion, guns, extremism, mental health, or culture. Both sides think they're defending the truth. But here's the part nobody wants to sit with. Why are houses of God starting to feel unsafe to the people searching for God inside them? And why does this story feel less shocking than it should? Because this is where it gets deeply uncomfortable. A man named Amin Abdullah stood between armed attackers and children he barely knew and gave everything to stop evil from reaching them. No superpowers, no movie script, just courage. So what does God say when hatred enters a sacred place and one ordinary person decides innocent lives matter more than his own? Because what the Torah, Gospel, and Quran reveal about fear, sacrifice, courage, and human hatred, it might hit harder than people expect. According to Associated Press and Reuters, 2 teenage gunmen attacked the Islamic Center of San Diego. 3 men were killed before the attackers took their own lives. But the story spreading across social media is not only about the violence, it is about a security guard named Amin Abdullah, because there were children inside that mosque. Around 140 children, and witnesses say Abdullah helped stop something even worse from happening. That detail is what is breaking people emotionally. Children were inside a place of worship, learning about God, while armed teenagers were trying to bring death through the doors. This is where the story becomes painfully complicated. Some people focused on religion, others focused on guns, others blamed culture, politics, hate, mental health, social media, isolation, extremism, anger, and honestly, everyone thinks they're pointing at the real problem, but here's what gets buried under all the noise. 3 families lost loved ones. Children witnessed terror, and one man chose courage instead of self-preservation. That changes the entire emotional weight of the story. Because people are not just reacting to violence anymore. They are reacting to sacrifice, to courage, to the idea that one ordinary person with no superpowers can still stand between innocent people and evil. And this is where faith steps in. Because Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all say something deeply uncomfortable about moments like this. They all teach that protecting innocent life is sacred, even when it costs you everything. Here's what's interesting. The Torah speaks very directly about protecting life. In Leviticus 19:16, it says, "Do not stand idly by while your neighbor's blood is shed. I am the Lord." That verse feels different after hearing this story, doesn't it? Because Amin Abdullah did not stand idly by. He saw danger coming toward innocent people, and he moved toward it instead of away from it. And this may challenge how people see courage, because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is deciding someone else matters more than your fear. There's another verse in the Talmud often connected to saving life. Whoever saves one life, it is considered as if he saved an entire world. Think about that for a second. There were children inside that mosque, entire futures inside that building, entire worlds. But here's the part people keep overlooking. Religious hatred always begins the same way. People stop seeing human beings. They start seeing categories, labels, enemies, targets. And once someone stops seeing the image of God in another human being, violence becomes easier. That is exactly why all 3 Abrahamic faiths warn humanity about hatred growing inside the heart. This is the part that challenges more than it comforts. Because Jesus said something many people quote, but very few truly live. In the Gospel of John, Jesus says, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." That sounds beautiful in church, but it becomes terrifying in real life. Because laying down your life is not poetic when bullets are involved. It is horrifying. It is painful. It is human. And yet Christianity keeps returning to this uncomfortable truth. Love is proven by sacrifice, not feelings, not hashtags, not opinions online. Sacrifice. There's another moment in Matthew 5 where Jesus says, Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. Now think about this carefully. Peacemaking is not passive. Peacemaking sometimes means stepping into danger to protect vulnerable people. This is where the truth starts pressing on us, because many people want a faith that feels comforting. But real faith often demands courage. Real faith asks, will you protect people who are vulnerable? Will you defend human dignity when hatred appears? Will you still see humanity in people who pray differently than you? That is where things stop being theoretical, and this may surprise some people watching, because Islam speaks powerfully about protecting innocent life. In Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:32, the Quran says, "Whoever kills a soul unless for a soul or corruption done in the land, it is as if he had slain mankind entirely, and whoever saves one, it is as if he had saved mankind entirely." That verse hits differently after this story, because again, children were inside, families were inside, lives were inside, and one man chose to stand between life and death. There's another verse in the Quran that feels deeply connected to this moment. Surah Fussilat 41:34 says, "Good and evil are not equal. Repel evil with what is better." That does not mean pretending evil is harmless. It means refusing to become consumed by hatred yourself. And this is where the conversation gets heavier, because attacks on houses of worship are attacks on something deeper than buildings. They attack human trust, human belonging, human dignity, a synagogue, a church, a mosque. These are places people go searching for peace, forgiveness, meaning, and God. So when violence enters those spaces, it feels spiritually disturbing, even to people who are not religious, because deep down, human beings know some places should feel sacred. Here's the part worth slowing down for. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all arrive at the same painful truth. Human life is sacred, not because people are perfect, but because every person carries dignity given by God. And this is where the mirror starts turning toward us, because it is easy to condemn hatred after tragedy happens. Harder to confront the smaller forms of hatred growing quietly inside society every day. The jokes, the stereotypes, the online dehumanization, the constant anger, the tribal thinking. This is where people start looking for a way out of the conversation, because nobody wants to admit how quickly humans divide each other into us and them. But here's what people are missing. Every act of mass violence starts long before violence itself. It starts with emotional isolation, dehumanization, fear, rage, meaninglessness. And people online are exhausted right now, spiritually exhausted, emotionally exhausted, politically exhausted, socially exhausted. That matters because lonely, angry people become vulnerable to darkness. This is where it gets uncomfortable. A society can become technologically advanced while emotionally collapsing underneath. And all three Abrahamic faiths warn about this exact thing. Power without wisdom, identity without compassion, belief without humility. Because it's easy to love humanity in theory, harder to love actual human beings when fear, politics, religion, and anger get involved. Compassion becomes real when it costs us comfort, and courage becomes real when danger appears. So now the question shifts away from the shooters and toward you, toward us. Not what they did, but what you would do. If fear walked into the room, who would you become? Would you protect people? Would you freeze? Would you run? Would you still recognize the humanity of people who worship differently than you? Because this story is bigger than one mosque. It is about the kind of world we are becoming and whether hatred is slowly training people to stop seeing each other as human. But here's the detail that should make us pause. One man reminded the world that courage still exists. Not a superhero, not a politician, not someone powerful, just a human being who decided innocent lives mattered more than his own safety. That is why this story is spreading emotionally across the internet. Because deep down, people are starving for evidence that goodness still exists, that courage still exists, that sacrifice still exists, and maybe that is the deeper spiritual lesson hidden inside all of this. Evil is loud, but courage echoes longer. So tonight, ask yourself honestly, what kind of person are you becoming? What kind of world are we creating together? And when fear and hatred show up at someone else's door, will you look away, or will you stand for human dignity too? Because Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all point towards the same truth here. Protect life. Protect the innocent. Protect each other. See the human being, not just the label. See the soul, not just the argument. And never forget, sometimes the people who save the world are ordinary people who simply refuse to let hate win. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and head over to our YouTube page for more content like this.